I was talking to a friend of mine this weekend. He says, "Oh, I see you're doing the Moment for Mission at church on Sunday. How about make it a minute for mission?" It's hard to talk about the Child Care Center in a minute. Maybe I'll take 3. We have been talking to the staff of the church about having a fellowship, not a fellowship, but a faith development hour dedicated to the Child Care Center so we can fill you in more about what's going on with the center and the industry. But this month, the art gallery is dedicated to one of the church's homegrown ministries, the Child Care Center of First Presbyterian Church. The Child Care Center was chartered by First Presbyterian and began operations in 1968, which coincided with the opening of the new education wing. And since 1968, the Child Care Center has been a beacon to young families in Asheville by providing a place where all families are welcomed and where parents know their children are safe, loved, and nurtured. So here are a few facts about our center. Currently, we serve 62 children, infants from 6 weeks old to 5 years old. We are one of a handful of centers in Asheville who continue to serve infants, which is where the greatest demand exists. This also is the most expensive service to provide, as the tuition for infants runs about $15,000 a year. Our center also represents a broad diversity of our population here in Asheville, and we strive to serve families on the economic margins, families often whom other centers decline to serve. We are also committed to serving children who have difficulties or behavioral issues. These are children who other centers have disenrolled in many cases. We are a 5-star rated center, which is the highest quality rating that the state licensing agency issues. But for all of these positives, our center and the entire industry here in Asheville and throughout the country are beset by great challenges. Fundamentally, it simply comes down to, how are we going to stay in business? How are we going to continue to be able to provide this service? A recent article from the Asheville Citizen-Times on October 24th, and you may have seen it, reported that in western North Carolina, 7 child care centers would close at the end of October, leaving 300 children without care. There's copies of that article over in the gallery, art gallery on the table. Please take one if you haven't seen that article. For the last couple of years, the child care industry has been propped up by federal grants. These grants allowed the industry to address some critical issues, primary among them teacher and staff compensation. These grants were scheduled to end in October, but the state of North Carolina found a way to continue these grants at a lower rate until June 2024. What happens after June, no one can be for certain. The end of these grants is affecting the entire industry, including our center, and it's one of the reasons that these 7 centers have just closed. In response, our board has committed to a greater emphasis on fundraising, as we will need significantly more funds to replace these grants and to supplement compensation for teachers and staff and to provide for greater levels of financial aid for families. As we come to the season of Thanksgiving and Christmas, our board, staff, and families are grateful for the support of First Presbyterian over the years. Many centers simply do not have the kind of support that we have from you, and thanks to you, we are still going strong. As you consider how you might put your charitable giving to work at the end of this year, please consider supporting this critical ministry that's housed right here. With all of the challenges facing our center, we continue to be called by God to do this work. And with God's help, we will continue to fight the good fight. In closing, I want to come back to the art gallery and the beautiful images that First Presbyterian member Alan Schlesinger has created. Thank you, Alan. The center, because the Child Care Center is located in the first floor of the education wing, and due to the security measures which we are required to implement as a child care center, the congregation does not get the chance to interact with these beautiful children who grace our campus 5 days a week throughout the year. So I encourage you to drop by the art gallery and to spend some time looking at these precious children, whom, by your membership of our church, you are caring for, nurturing, and loving, just as Christ has commanded. Thanks for your support.